11 runners lined up for the final classic. And they're off over 1 3/4 miles in the Comer Group International out of St. Leger. Up for the lead, Curragh and Jason The Militant, followed by Search for a Song and Kyprios ridden up in between horses, followed by an improving Manawat Corday. As they race the end of almost the first 2 furlongs. Hamish next with Ross Carberry, Princess Zoe the Grey, and then Raise You towards the inside of the sponsor Seattle Creek, and Shanroe the back marker. Jason The Militant leads by under a length to Kyprios, disputing second place with Manawat Corday. In fourth place is Search for a Song, dual winner of 2019 and 2020. On the inside, Curragh with in between horses the cross-channel runner Hamish. Ross Carberry next with Raise You. Princess Zoe the Grey on the outside of Seattle Creek with the back marker Shanroe right across from the stands, continuing on towards the final 10 furlongs. And it's Jason The Militant with a small advantage over Manawat Corday, tracked a length and a half back by Kyprios, who's chasing down a hat-trick of top-flight successes in the staying division. And they're followed by Search for a Song and Curragh racing together, along with Hamish. Ross Carberry next with Princess Zoe and Raise You with the final couple. Shanroe relegating Seattle Creek to be the back markers. They continue their progress soon at the halfway stage. Jason The Militant by neck to Manawat Corday, a length and a half back to Kyprios, then Search for a Song, the stripe cap on the outside of Curragh, being followed on rising ground by Hamish, and then Ross Carberry. Raise You next on the inside, the trial winner here and something of a course specialist, and then Princess Zoe, Shanroe and Seattle Creek. Continuing to show the St. Leger field along is Jason The Militant and Ronan Whelan by half a length to the nose banded Manawat Corday. Close up in third place is Kyprios and then Search for a Song. Curragh next on the inside. Edging that little bit closer, the grey Princess Zoe, with Hamish and Ross Carberry coming next ahead of Raise You, Shanroe and Seattle Creek, the back marker. About to make the descent for the approach to the straight, just over half a mile to go. Jason The Militant with looming on the outside, Kyprios, then Manawat Corday, Curragh. Search for a Song right in behind the leaders with Hamish. Princess Zoe now being wound up ahead of Ross Carberry and Raise You just in behind them, being followed with 3 furlongs to go by Shanroe and Seattle Creek. They straighten with 2.5 furlongs to go. Kyprios comes to pick it up from Jason The Militant. Hamish is making good ground in the centre. Search for a Song on the outside of Ross Carberry, then Raise You. Skipping a couple of lengths clear of the field is Kyprios from Hamish as they race to the final furlong. A bit of a break then, a Search for a Song and Ross Carberry, but in the lead is Kyprios from Hamish. There's a length and a half between them as they run up towards the final 100 yards. Kyprios, Aidan O'Brien's all-conquering stare keeps his place on the top step, and the Irish St. Leger ridden by Ryan Moore. Hamish went down fighting well clear of Search for a Song. Ross Carberry, Raise You next.
Aidan O'Brien has just landed his 6th Comer Group Irish St. Leger. Aidan, many congratulations. It's so hard to know how good this horse is because he only goes through the motions, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Anybody that rides horses know that he flaps all the time, so he never goes out of a flap. It's a very rare thing, so that means like he's a horse only cantering along. So it's very rare a horse can do it in a race, but he does it the whole time, and until the last 2 furlongs when he really has to stretch. So listen, it's hard to know how much is in there. But he's very professional, uncomplicated horse, very tough, very genuine. So no, delighted. Ryan gave him a great ride. Delighted for everybody. Patrick does a great job with him at home. Matt and is in charge of him, and Edmund and Wayne rides him in his work. Christopher leads him. So, but all the team around, it's a big team effort, as you know, Kevin, with everyone on the gallops and in the office, and Chris and there's so many people involved to make it happen. So we're very grateful, delighted for Aoife, delighted for all the lads. Like he's obviously by Galileo, out of a great mare. So no, so delighted for everybody, really.
And Aidan is a family that keeps improving at time. This is only a 4-year-old. That was only his 9th start. The way he races, there could be lots more to come.
Yeah, and he's only a 4-year-old. Like you said, for a stayer, a 4-year-old is very young. So obviously when you get a horse that can get the Gold Cup trip is unique, and like he is so young, and there's not a lot of miles on him, you know. So these were the 3 races that were mapped out for him on the way after it was the Gold Cup was where we were hoping then going to Goodwood and come back here. So no, it's very exciting to have him really, Kevin.
He's won over the Gold Cup trip, he's won over 1.6 miles, I think he's won over 1.5 miles as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. The plan was to go, like the Gold Cup was the big test, 2 and 4 or 5, whatever, and then to come back to 2 at Goodwood, and then to come back to 1.6 miles here, and then to see would we bring him back to 1.5 miles. So we'll see how he is and what everybody thinks. He was a little bit probably more lazy today, but he had done very well since Goodwood, and it was probably raced heavier today than he ever did before. So he might be maturing, and maybe he was getting a bit lazy after Goodwood. So hopefully, it couldn't be happier really.
Well, that must be a very good sign from your perspective from training him, that he takes his racing so well. He just switches off, as we say, just goes through the motion. He probably hasn't hit top gear yet, has he?
No, he's so laid back, Kevin. But always was. He was like that even when I think Seamus won his maiden on him in Galway, and he was always laid back. I think he's a good mover, but they say that the family handled soft grounds, but obviously when they move that well, that half they would prefer good grounds. Listen, he's an exciting horse to have, really.
That's 3 Group 1s on the board now. Where do we see him next? Does he go to France?
Well, listen, you have an option of going to the Arc with him. It's depending on what everyone wants to do. Like, hopefully we'll have him next year, because he would be an exciting horse to have for the Gold Cup again. So I suppose see how he comes out and see how he trains and see what everyone thinks and see what way the ground is going to be, and all the options are there, and then maybe he doesn't have to go anywhere anymore this year, you know. So I suppose we'll play it by ear and see what everyone wants to do.
And Aidan, obviously you won the Gold Cup 4 times with Yates. I hate asking this question because it is a stupid question, trying to compare different generations, but is there quite a few similarities in this guy and Yates?
Yeah, listen, obviously he gets the trip very well, and Yates did. He's very relaxed. And Yates was very relaxed as well. So, and I suppose both of them have won all those type of races as well, you know. So, and like he's only 4. I don't know whether Yates won a Gold Cup at 4 or was it 5, but Yates was an incredible horse, and I suppose he puts unbelievable stamina into his stock, as we've seen with his race horses. They stay and they stay and they stay, you know. And obviously this horse gets the trip very well as well. So there is obviously similarities.
I'm very excited. Both of them, most importantly, had a big engine as well. Aidan, can't let you go without word about Meditate. I think you just come up against one today, haven't you?
Absolutely. Dermot's filly is very good, very, very, very classy. I think you'd have to be very impressed with her. Ryan gave our filly a lovely ride. He got a run and he was gone, and it's very rare that something will come and get you, and when that's after happening, and it wasn't as if the field closed Ryan down, they didn't, no, you'd have to be very impressed with her.
And where can we see her next, Aidan, or is it too early to say?
Yeah, she could go back. She could go back to the Cheveley Park. Obviously, No Nay Never is a big speed influence, and both of ours today have a lot of speed. They might have got away with 7 here the last day on very fast ground, and like obviously there's a big speed influence in both, so both could go back. She could go back to the Cheveley Park and he could go back to the Middle Park, you know. So we'll see. Like they came through their trials here the last day, but it was a different ground. Today was more demanding, and maybe both could go back, and but we'll see how they are.
And that ground as well just can often blunt horses' speed.
Oh yeah, well it blunt speed, and obviously if it could expose stamina. You know, so like I said, there's strong traits of speed in both, and very much so from No Nay Never, which is a very important thing. You need speed in a racehorse, you know. So, but you can often stretch that speed too far.
Aidan, many congratulations. Thanks for your time as ever.
Pleasure, Kevin. Thank you.